There are several ways you can study music, and you don't have to study music formally at all. Many successful musicians taught themselves. However, there are limits to that. Within certain areas of music, if you're going to be successful, especially in making a living, you have to understand notation. That's what this course is primarily focused on, is music notation. There are two aspects to music notation that are really fundamental to it, and that is basically pitch and time. Music has to occur in time, like other art forms, like theater or dance. It has to take place over a certain amount of time, unlike a sculpture or a painting, where you can think of it as just existing. So, out of those two concepts, pitch is one of the trickier ones. Rhythm, people tend to have a more intuitive sense of it. For instance, everyone loves to dance and can usually do fairly well at it. But pitch is trickier. Usually you have to think of it as being performed on an instrument, and so you have to know technically how to make that instrument work, or you have to be able to sing, and not everyone's comfortable with singing. So what we're going to be doing in this course is connecting the ideas of pitch and time in notation with concepts of music that you might already be familiar with, but weren't just sure how to label them. So as far as pitch goes, the book starts off talking about contour, and that really has to do with the idea of high and low. So intuitively, let's, if you can, go ahead and sing with me. If I played this pitch here, la, la, and if you can sing that note, you'll feel a certain amount of tension in your throat. And it's a good idea to try and perform these concepts with your voice. It helps make them more real to you. Now if I play this one down here, la, well first of all, women might have trouble even hitting this note down here. La, whereas guys would have an easier time. Then if I go up here, that's harder for guys to hit, but easier for women. So those are limitations within our voices that are natural to how the muscles actually work. But if I go back to this note here, la, men and women can hit that note relatively easy. It might feel a little bit high for guys. Now, this idea right there between those three notes, that's basically high, low, and in the middle. And the idea of contour that the book is trying to get you familiar with is this idea of understanding as music moves through time, it's going up and down, high and low, and creating these contours, these shapes. So just like a sculpture will have a contour and a shape to it, a cityscape, a city outline will have a contour and shape to it. Music has to function in the same way. So let's listen to an excerpt here from the piano piece by Pu Lao. And so there was a natural contour to that one. Starting off here in that same high note I played, going up higher, and getting really high. Then it falls back down, falls a little bit lower, and that last passage there, you would say the contour was narrower. In other words, the notes were moving closer together, which is another important observation to be able to make in music. That at the beginning, it seems to be traveling in space higher a lot faster, and it's leaping. Rather in this passage, the notes are moving a little bit closer together. Then it takes a little bit more dramatic turn where the melody becomes extremely low. And then it goes back up high. Continues. So it makes a nice demonstration of this idea of really high, really low, and then in between we have, starting in that same middle pitch that we began with in singing. So that gives you a quick, brief rendition of what contour and pitch and high and low mean, and these concepts are going to become increasingly important as we go along.